Hi everyone, if you're thinking of building and renovating, this is the place to be. I am Nikki, CEO and founder of Totally Wicked Group, and welcome to our Totally Wicked Live Q&A, where we speak to experts about all things building, renovating, so you can buy and build better. So tonight we're going to be talking about all things landscaping with Steve from Langley Gardens, Queensland. And we're glad it's not raining tonight, so we can actually hear what's going on.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to be going through designing and planning your garden, things you need to know about plants, mulch, turf selection, designing with maintenance in mind, and all things water. We'll be getting started soon. We'll give people a little bit of a moment to sign in and say hi. So if you could please comment and make sure that you can hear us and that we all look good and everything's all happening great. And also tag anybody if you know of anyone who is landscaping or maybe looking to sell their home soon and wants to make it look nicer and fresher with more bang for their buck with landscaping. Make sure they don't miss out. So we'll be going for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And of course, this is live, so please post any questions you have for our expert, Steve. And if you stay tuned tonight and you like, comment, and share, you could be in the running to win a landscaping design consultation worth $297 with Steve. So he'll come around to your place and give you all the great ideas that are specific to you.
Absolutely.
Yes. I would like to win that, but I can't. We will announce the winner at the end. Also, if you want to keep up to date with our Totally Wicked live Q&As, please subscribe to our newsletter and you'll get all the updates as well as links to the videos just in case you can't make it. And we also send out really cool checklists and things with additional information because half an hour and 45 minutes, not really enough time when it's really, really technical stuff. So really, really good resource and it's free. So just a little bit about why we're doing this. A lot of this stuff with building and renovating, people just have no idea what questions to ask. And Steve, I'm sure, would be able to say that.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of information in these brains that we just need to get out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just let it fly and see what sits well with people and what doesn't. If there's any questions, just get in touch with us and we'll answer them in more detail.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is all about value add. There's no hard sell at the end, nothing. And you could win some great stuff. So, why would you not be here? So, Steve Joseph from Langley, he's been working in the industry for over 26 years in commercial and domestic landscaping. Started out in the UK. So you said it was your uncle's
That's
business
correct,
originally?
Yeah. So it was uncle's company in the UK. He retired out here, set it up, and then had to go back to the UK. And I've taken it over and had it for about 5 years and here, about 3 years here in Australia.
Awesome. And you were saying you've got some really good guys working with you as well.
The guys that I've got are really well trained. They don't know everything, but they know all, everything that we need to know to do the work that we do. They're horticulturists. They know all about plants and things like that. And it's a really good fit. It's a really good fit.
Awesome. And bonus, you're also in interior design. So you do a lot of thinking about the inside and the outside and how to connect the two together.
Basically, I try and bring what you've done on the inside of your house out to the outside so they all complement each other, work really well, similar colours, textures and feelings. But obviously, one of the key things is low maintenance and all that kind of stuff. So we try to keep things clean and simple and match in with your aesthetic and also your lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's really, really important. If you're building a new home or you're doing a big renovation, it's really important to have the holistic view of what you're trying to do. So even if you're planning it yourself, it's all DIY. Really, really think about how everything connects together, even if you do it in stages. Really, really important. So send in your questions for Steve, all about landscaping. And remember to like, comment, and share to win a $297 design consult with him. So let's get started.
It's good.
So one of the big things, I think, if you're trying to add value to your home, one of the simplest, most effective things is turf.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So first question, how do I decide between artificial and natural turf?
Okay, good question. Very good question. A lot of that comes down to your personal circumstances. If you have the time to get outside and maintain your natural garden, your natural turf, then obviously I would always recommend natural because you can't beat it. It's good for the environment, it's good for the air, it's simple to do, but it also depends on the area that you're putting it in as well. Some areas that have got quite a lot of shade in them. Some turfs don't do well in shade. They'll just die off, or they're not getting the water and things like that to them that they should be. Because not everybody realizes, a lot of people think that it's just water that both plants and turf need. They actually need the sunlight as well to grow effectively. If you were thinking of artificial turf, that's for the kind of people that don't really have time to do the maintenance, or they can't do the maintenance. Maybe they have difficulty getting around to do the maintenance, can't push a mower around or things like that. It's quite simple, and it's an effective way to do it. They both are instant impact. As soon as you've laid the turf, it's there. It's like poof, brand new turf. And the same with the artificial. It's as soon as it's laid, it's there. So it just depends on both your property and your personal circumstances and whether or not you can get out there to maintain it.
Another thing I like to add was I used to live in Adelaide, and it was really common to have artificial turf, especially like out the front on the verge, because water restrictions were so bad. It was often quite funny actually, because you'd have brown lawn, green patch, and then brown lawn. But it makes such a difference, especially because, normally you don't walk on it with bare feet out the front. It's out the back that you might want to spend the money on watering and maintaining for yourself. But out the front, and to make your whole front of your house look a bit nicer.
Yeah, and it's simple and it's quite effective actually. A lot of people comment on it.
So what about pets and artificial turf?
Okay, so pets and artificial turf, good question. There are actual different styles of artificial turf that are good for pets. There are specific ones that you can actually buy that are designed for pets because they're a slightly thicker blade of grass and that kind of stuff. They're more rigid, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to spend the money on that because they are more expensive. There's also one that's like a hydro chill, which is aimed to be a little bit cooler underfoot, mainly used around pools and things like that. But again, that I would recommend because it is designed for around pools. But when it comes to the pets, when you put artificial turf in, and you've got it all laid out and it's all positioned in place, and you've got your glue and everything in there, and it's all ready to go. You then need to put a really fine sand in it. So that's the normal thing that we would do if we weren't thinking about pets, because with the sand, it basically weighs it down. It makes it feel more realistic underfoot. It helps to keep it cool. And it's still always going to be hot because it is an artificial turf. Under your feet, you're always going to have to wear footwear, but it will be cooler and won't burn you as it won't be so sharp on your feet. But you can still use a good quality turf that's not the pet friend, the pet cost. But instead of putting the sand in, you would put a crystal, and this crystal does the same job, but it has actually chemicals in it that takes away the smell of the animal's urine. Yeah,
because you don't want your animals, peeing on the sand, and then you can't get the sand out.
You can't get the smell out, and it starts to stink. You get flies.
It doesn't get soaked away.
Yeah, exactly right. Whereas with the geofill, it's called, it's really good. It just takes away it's the ammonia in it. It takes it away, and obviously the rain and everything like that will wash the rest of it out. When it comes to dogs doing or cats doing the other business, that's just simple, a bit like you would do a carpet. Just wet it down with your hose, scoop it up, wash it. Simple, easy. But it's just and again, it also takes some of the smell out of that as well. But it's mainly for the urine smell, which is the most potent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still spend, medium quality grass, but you don't have to spend big dollars on.
And that's especially good if you've got a tiny garden and you don't want to mow for a little bit of stretch, but you want something that's not just pavers and concrete.
Yeah, exactly.
What about edging my turf?
Ooh, now then, that's a very common question. And there's really good ways of doing it. There's really
not so good ways
of doing it. A lot of people go to Bunnings and they buy those, like those roll-out log edging. It doesn't last longer at all, and it's hard to get in with your mower and your whippersnipper into all the divots and things like that are in it.
Naturally, you'd have the two logs there, and that's where the weed's going to grow.
Yeah, exactly right. And so you've got to think about that kind of thing. It's always better to have clean lines. Some people try to put like the plastic roll in that you can get from Bunnings as well. It's good for a short period of time, but it's not got longevity to it at all, and you'll always keep replacing it. And then you'll start getting annoyed that it's buckling or it's tipping over and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's either timber sleepers or a product called Form Boss. Timber sleepers come in 3 different types and 3 different types of cost. So you've got your H4 treated pine, which is treated for obviously exterior use and in-ground use. That's what the H4, it's a CCA chemical that helps it to stop it from rotting and things like that in the ground. You'll find that the pine is much straighter when you buy it, and much more uniformed. But it will only and even if you put it, you put it into the super amazing quality, best you've ever put it in, it's still only going to last 5 to 6 years because it will eventually rot to it. It's a natural material, and some of the treated pine as well. With it being pine, it's already got sap in it. Then when you're treating it with the chemical, it sometimes oozes out the sap.
It sort of like bleeds.
Yeah, it kind of bleeds. Yeah, and that can, if you're putting it next to artificial turf, get onto your not artificial turf and it's really sticky. But it's still a really good material. So that's kind of.
So I suppose that's the question of what's your intention. It sort of comes back to what we were sort of saying before, is like you've got to have this holistic design in mind before you get started. Is it something that you're going to live in for 10 years and you want to spend a good couple of $100,000 on a big house extension and a new kitchen, and you're better off paying the extra a little bit to get something that lasts you longer.
You always get what you pay for, but at the end of the day as well, though, you can go up a step from pine, and it's called a microfiber or a micro shades sleeper. It's still timber, but it's lots of different types of timber compressed and put in together. It's like a composite. Sometimes some companies call it sienna, and the reason for that is it's like a reddy color, a bit like some of the barks that you can get, the mulches that you can get, and it's a good alternative. It's still in-ground treatable. It's still strong. It's still straight. It still lasts a little bit longer. You're looking at maybe 1 or 2 more years than your H4 treated pine. And it's lighter as well, easy to work with.
So would it be more sustainable as well?
It is a little bit more sustainable. The only thing that sometimes puts people off it is that it's that reddy colour. And obviously, if you've got mobile or any of the hardwood deckings around, and you've got those kind of colours in your space anyway, then it works really, really well. If you've not got that, and you're
going more like charcoal or something,
classics, very sleek, modern minimalists, then obviously it's not going to work so well. Both of those, though, you can paint and treat them. It will give them a little bit of extra longevity, make them look obviously matching with the colour palette that you've got in there as well.
But then you've got to keep repainting it.
You've got to keep repainting it. And then obviously the next one up is obviously your hardwood. Now hardwood, everyone knows hardwood is super strong, super durable, lasts for years and years. But how many hardwood trees have you seen that are straight? So it's hard to get. There's lots of hardwood out there, but there's always a little twist or a kink in it or something in there. It's really time time intensive for either yourself or for us to go out and find straight, flat, non-twisted pieces that'll work for your space. It's also harder to cut.
Yeah.
You've also got to pre-drill before you go into your to do the joining with the batten screws and things like that, because it just takes forever and you get a burn, and sometimes if you don't pre-drill, it'll actually crack.
Because it's so hard.
Yeah. So you have to do that. And then obviously the creme de la creme is the Form Boss. But the Form Boss is it's a metal. It comes in a couple of shades, but the most popular is like a silver finish or a rusted look that naturally rusts and looks rusty. Again, goes really well with the red. So like those that have got the mobile and everything like that on the decks and stuff like that. It also provides a good contrast though.
It would be good against green as well.
Yeah, it looks really good against green. And different thicknesses, heights, but that lasts 40, 50, 60 years. The beautiful thing about Form Boss is you can make circles, you can make curves, waves. You can do all kinds of different shapes and things with Form Boss.
And it stays put.
Yeah, you can really get creative with it. And it stays put. It's solid, strong, durable, and it'll be there probably after you've left. But again, it's, when you're looking at around about $60 for 2.4 meter length, whereas opposed to the H4 treated pine, which is $14 per two. So it depends on where your budget is and how long you want it to be there.
Yeah,
and the overall aesthetic of what you are trying to achieve.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of those things where, you might want to go, okay, I'm going to spend a lot of money on the lawn and some really good quality edging, and then get some budget plants that are not mature plants, so they're a bit cheaper. So they're going to grow over the next couple of years, and then I'm happy with that. That's the thing.
That's an interesting fact actually, because a lot of people ask us, can we get mature plants in our garden, because they want that instant impact. Yes, we can. They cost 2 or 3 times more, and you've got the shape that they come in. When you go with your smaller plants, 200 mil, 140 mil, maybe 300 mil pot, they are smaller, but you can grow them how you want to grow them. You can set heights with them. You can make if you want them to go wider, you can make them grow wider as a hedging plant. You can make them grow taller and shrink them in. You can have control of the overall finish of that. So again, it depends on what you want to do and the effect that you're trying to achieve. But there are some plants out there though that, if that's on your wish list, it's just expensive anyway.
Regardless. Yeah.
Things like teddy bear magnolias.
I'm going to pretend like I know what that means.
Yeah, well, they're beautiful magnolia shrubs, but they are always expensive. Same as big red lily pilly. There's a lily pilly which you can get around about the $10 to $15 mark for a decent one. Your big reds are looking at $35, $40, and that's a trade price.
Alex, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have one. So for Stephen, with all the rain we get in short periods in Queensland, how do we control water volumes to prevent damage to gardens in wet season, but still maintain enough water for plants and grassed areas in the dry season?
Okay, good question. So one of the things that you can look at is obviously drainage around the area that can take some of the surface water away. You can also have like gravels and things like that you could put in that take away the soil, take away the water as well. You can also get a pipework system that can actually take the water away. There's also ways that we tend to do things as well, is that we kind of go with the natural flow of the land if we can, whenever we're doing any landscaping. And if you've got some of these things have a fall on them, like a slight gradient, so that will enable the water to run off. If you notice anywhere in your garden that your water is particularly running to, then maybe you can put a container or something nearby that can catch that water, fill it up, and then you can use it to water your plants later on. There's not a great deal of things you can do in that. Or another thing you could do is also put water retention crystals in your garden beds as well, because they'll hold some of that water and take it away. And then obviously when it's not raining and it's not so wet, it will slow release that water out and water your garden.
That was one of my questions later on.
Very good.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a good
2
question.
for 1.
I like that one.
Yeah, water retention crystals.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So next question's about mulch. So what mulch do I use to keep pests away?
Ooh, well, there's a couple. A lot of people tend to like tea tree because it smells really nice and it's got that tea tree oil, tea tree smell. It's a really good mulch in terms of putting onto garden beds and things as well, because it tends to knit together. Tea tree mulch is actually one of our favourites because it, like I say, it knits together. It forms a blanket. When it's wet, it stays wet, keeps the moisture, and also therefore keeps watering your plants area, keeping the garden bed wet. With the tea tree, cockroaches hate tea tree, and how I actually found that out was a friend of mine had a cockroach problem in their appliances, and the appliance company said, "Hey, put some tea tree on a paper towel near the appliance, and you'll never get them." And it's true, never get them. So they hate it. Other bugs tend to not like it as well. But the number one, for me in particular, for us, is that we love Cypress Mulch. Cypress Mulch does the same thing as the tea tree. It also smells nice, but not the same tea tree smell. But it's naturally deterrent. And I'll say that again, naturally deterrent, to termites, which is a big issue in Queensland. Yeah. So all your garden beds, if you can put in the carbon, we actually like carbon black Cypress Mulch because it's carbon black, and anything that you put next to it, it just pops. Whether it's green, whether it's red, whether it's yellow, whether it's a timber, whatever it is that you put.
So by carbon black, you mean the colour, not the branding or anything.
It's the colour. A lot of people try to go for these terracottas and reds and things like that. They look great initially, but after a bit of time, they'll fade in their colour. They're also quite lightweight. They don't knit together. So when you get winds and things like that, that's why you get it all over your driveways, your pathways, and you're always kind of going, oh, I've got to sweep that up. That's because you've gone for a fashionable look and finish, but it's not quite, it hasn't got the weight to it. So anything like tea tree mulch, Cypress Mulch, any of the Cypress Mulches, any of the tea tree mulches, they're the go-to.
That's why we have experts here, because I would have gone, I love bark mulch. It looks great.
Yeah, and wood chippings and things like that, and it's just,
well, they do. They do look great, but I didn't actually know anything about the tea tree until you said it to me. I was like, oh, that's great. Other people need to know that.
Yeah, you can put it in your bathrooms and all kinds of tea tree everywhere, and it's just,
I love, side note, I love rubbing lemon oil everywhere to get rid of spiders. Peppermint oil as well. Yeah, there you go.
And we get spiders all the time in the gardens.
How do I know how much mulch I need?
Okay, so basically it's just you find out the square area, length by width, and then just determine how deep you want to go. So you work out the square area and then you times that by the thickness that you want to go. So if it's 50 mil, it's 0.5. And that will tell you how many cubic meters.
So how do I know how, like if it was just a normal garden bed, there was just a little bit of edging, it wasn't raised or anything, how do I know what is a good thickness to go with?
Okay, if you can, you always want to go a minimum of 50 millimeters. The main reason for that is because that's thick enough to stop the sunlight getting into the garden bed, which then therefore encourages your weeds. So if you put it on at least 50 mil, if you can go 100 or a little bit more, great. But 50 mil is your minimum, and that will stop the sunlight from going in and making the weeds come through.
And that would also help with water retention as well.
It would, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And while we're on the subject of weeds, you'll never, ever, ever stop them. Never, ever. You've always got to maintain them. You've always got to get out there and pull them or spray them. But there are measures that you can take, like using 50 millimeters of mulch, like putting weed mat down on top of the soil before you put the plants in, and then cutting an X in in your weed mat, folding it under and put your plant in there and then unfold it. So it wraps around the stem of your plant. So it's got minimum room to grow.
Yeah.
You can pin it in and then you mulch over the top.
Cool. That was another one of my questions you've just
Oh, really?
asked.
Oh, I'm ahead of you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's great. What are some good cost-effective inorganic mulches?
Indoor garden mulches.
No, inorganic.
Oh, inorganic.
Sorry.
Okay. So there's only one that we really use. And it's an organic. It's just straightforward. There's organic blend and then there's premium organic.
Sorry.
Oh.
I'll rephrase the question.
Rephrase
Sorry.
the question.
There's organic mulch and inorganic mulch, or non-organic. Yeah, so stones and things like that. What's the most cost-effective non-organic?
Non-organic.
Yeah.
For terms of soil, or you thinking?
No, in terms of aesthetic.
Just aesthetic.
Yeah.
Pebbles, decorative pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
you can go real cheap and do like your 10 mil or your 20 mil drainage gravel. There's also 10 or 20 mil recycled concrete. There's also 20 mil coal gravel. They've got the more fashionable colours in them at the moment, and they're quite inexpensive. Organic soil is still going to be cheaper though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's still going to be cheaper. Organic soil it's the soil. If you go premium organic soil, it's a little bit more expensive, but
see, I was thinking more like premium organic and a really cheap inorganic might have been on the same sort of level.
Similar level, yeah. But it also depends on area and quantities as well, and how thick you need to go. Another popular pebble is like a dusk river pebble. It's like a river pebble.
Oh yeah.
But that's all kind of like river colours, so reds and browns and all that kind of stuff. So again, it lends itself well to the more traditional style of garden. But if you want to go more contemporary and you're putting it with the carbon black and nice silver or chrome looking edge of the thorn moss and things like that, then you would want to go for the drainage gravel colours and things like that. You can also go into some really expensive $400, $500, $600 a cubic meter of pebbles. We actually did a job recently where we used, the really polished pebbles.
Yeah. We
were talking nearly $4,500 worth of pebbles on this front of this garden. It looked amazing. We've got some photos coming soon, but this was a really high-end architecturally designed house, and they wanted 40 to 50 mil in the big garden beds, and then in between all their sleeper footpaths and things like that, which were already there, they wanted the really fine 10 mil, 8 to 10 mil. So lots and lots of bags polished. So you can go right up there, crazy money, or you can come down here and still achieve a similar look. Because the drainage gravel is, again, small, 10 mil, and it's like a grey-blue colour, which is really, really popular at the moment.
Yeah, awesome. Questions?
Yes. Question about weeds again.
Yep.
Can you lay down newspaper under mulch, and does that help maintain weed growth and water retention? Yes,
it does. That's an old school trick. The only problem with it is that obviously because it's a paper and it's in there and it's wet, it will actually decompose and form almost like a compost kind of texture. So it will only last for a certain amount of time. You'll find yourself having to keep replacing the newspaper. But again, you can still get good quality weed matting that's not that expensive. But it is a good way of recycling the newspapers. And it does do the job, but only for an amount of time, until the paper obviously rots away.
So one more. Do you use native Australian plants and trees over imported species?
Yes. One of the biggest things that we actually get asked for when we're doing planting schemes is Aussie natives. Now, there's good and bad for that. Aussie natives are great. They're obviously Aussie and they fit really well with the climate. Some Aussie natives, though, that grow really well in Melbourne wouldn't grow so well here in Brisbane and Queensland because it's a different heat. So you've got to think of the Queensland climate when you're doing that. And that then sometimes limits what you can get in terms of the Aussie natives. But that's why the foreign or the imported stuff, or even the stuff that's grown here that's still from another continent, does really well here because it's made for that tropical climate. So yes and no. Yeah, we do a mixture of both.
Wherever possible, whatever suits,
possible.
Yeah.
The good thing about the Aussie natives is that they're usually easy to maintain because they don't require heaps and heaps of water. But whenever we do a planting scheme, we'll actually give you when you buy plants and you've got the little cards on them, that tells you how high they grow, how wide they grow, when to water it, all that kind of stuff. So we hand all that over to you so that you've got an aftercare kind of package thing that we hand over.
Yeah, because there'd be nothing worse than being like, oh, this amazing garden, and then 3 weeks time, everything starts dying.
Well, you see, like this plant over here, you might need to water twice a day, whereas this one you do once a week. But if you're doing it, say twice a day on all of them, you're going to kill the plant.
Yeah.
And one thing to note about plants as well is that there is always a chance that your plant will die after you've planted it. That's because it's in an environment that it's used to. It's in a plant pot. You take it out. You put it in, it's into the ground, it's a living thing, and it goes into shock. Yeah. Just water it, nurture it, sea soil, things like that, and that will help it to take to the new ground, but you always have a chance of it not liking the ground that it's gone into and having to replace it.
Not liking change.
No, no. It's kind of like goes, oh, I'm in a new area, what's going on here? And it doesn't like it. Yeah.
Other questions? No? Cool. Just a reminder about a giveaway. So if you live in the Brisbane, Gold Coast, out to Ipswich region,
Redland Bay, Bayside, all that kind of stuff.
Any of those areas, and you want Steve to come out and do a landscaping consult with you to value up $297, like, comment, share, because we're drawing that at the end of this.
Another question.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Something like a pond, water fountain, or waterfall a good way to add value?
Yes, it is. And the key to doing that is actually keep it simple. Keep it straightforward. You don't need to go massively ornate with lots of fountains that dance to music or anything like that. Simple,
David.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. You don't need to go. There's some simple, effective ones that just use the same water. You don't need to do too much plumbing. A little bit of electrical work, but yes, they add great value, especially if they're in the right type of garden. And what I would recommend as well is that if you've got a really modern home and you go and put, an old Italian-looking really ornate gargoyle style over the top fountain in the back garden, it's not going to really match the picture. So you've got to kind of keep it to that same kind of picture, but you've also got to think of the size and scale of the space that it's in. It might be better to go smaller and get an even bigger impact than if it's big and fancy. Yeah. You can do the both, and simple tricks like lighting and things like that as well that you can do that make it look really, really, really pop out and add that value and a bit of a wow factor.
And I think combining that with a pool, if you've got a pool, I've seen some instances of a water feature that's very, very simple. That's just running the water into the pool with some beautiful lights and just nice and calming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was another one of my questions. See, even people at home, they're in sync with what I'm talking about. All over it.
That's good.
So, watering tips. What is the best time of the day to water, and for how long?
Another good question, Nikki. Okay, we will always recommend with our customers that you water the plants either early morning, so before the sun comes up, or before the sun gets too hot, and also at night when sun's starting to go down and it starts to get cooler. That's when we recommend that we would water. A watering tip is obviously follow the instructions that you've been given, or find out what it is, tailor your watering to what you're watering. And another good thing is that a lot of people, even if they do water in the day and it's hot, they water like it's like they're doing it like it's raining
Mm.
all over the plant.
Mm.
Now, have you ever looked at plants and you look at it and you go, and it's got little
Yeah, the little burn
water.
spots on
Well,
it.
yeah, but that's because there's water that's
Yeah.
been left on there that hasn't run off.
Mm.
Heat magnifies it, burns it, so you get sunburn. Your plants will get sunburn. So that's why we always recommend at the base. I would say on an average plant, you want to water it when they're new in, once a day. Once they're fully established, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. But just keep an eye on them. Have a look at them. If they look like they're getting a bit dry, give them a good water. You can also put water retention crystals in there as well, which will help to keep a constant watering.
Mm-hmm.
We use water retention crystals all the time. We even use it as a bit of a trade tip, actually. We used it when we put the new under turf soil in underneath the new turf that we're putting in. We'll then sprinkle water retention crystals into that, so that, because when you put new turf in, you have to water it a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Your water bill is going to go up a little bit, right? But it's just to make sure that it gets enough water to stay.
Yeah, it's got to establish.
And establish itself and root and grow through. And what's great about the water retention crystals is that it just improves the watering efficiency. When you're not watering it or you forget to water it, it's got water in the retention crystals to water from below as well.
How long do they last for? Crystals?
Water retention crystals, it depends on how often you water it, but yeah, a good couple of months or so, I would say, a month or two. Even though the packaging may say different, I've noticed that they're there.
Yeah.
Well, because obviously we come back and to check it when we put new turf in to make sure that it's level and all that kind of stuff and knitted together properly and we haven't got any gaps and all that kind of stuff. So we sometimes peel it back if it hasn't taken and they're still there 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 times the size that they were, and they're very sticky and get them on you. Right, yeah, they're working. Yeah.
Awesome.
Another question about watering systems. Should you put a watering system in at the same time as establishing the plants, or wait until plants are starting to take?
You can put
drip or sprinklers.
Yeah, put them in. Put them in at the same time, because that will actually improve your watering efficiency. It'll make sure that you don't forget to water it. You can also get really simple and cost-effective timers that will go in with your watering, the irrigation system, that you can set to go at certain times of the day for certain durations, and you can adjust that all. You can also have multiple control units that work on the same system but operate different areas of the garden.
Yeah.
So let's say your turf needs brand new turf, and you can actually do an irrigation system in your turf. New turf, when it's laid, you need to watering it 3-4 times a day for about 15-20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Whereas your new plants, you might only need to water twice a day for 10 minutes. So you can set it all so that it's all easy to maintain, easy to manage.
And then that's obviously once the turf takes, you're not watering it 3 times a day. You slow it down. Yeah.
You might do it once or twice a week.
Yeah, because I mean, unless you're at home all the time and you've got nothing else better to
Exactly
do.
Right. It suits busy professionals and things like that. Or anyone that's time poor, single mums or stuff like that, where they're flat out all the time and they're looking after kids and blah blah blah. Take it out of your head.
Yeah.
Just let it do itself.
My garden is a mess. What are your design tips to get started?
Okay, so your garden is a mess. What are your design tips to get started? First thing you need to establish is what your end goal is, what you want to achieve, and why you want to change it. That's what you've got to get first. Once you've got that, you can then tailor your garden to what will help you to achieve that. Simple things like keeping all your plants maintained, trimming back all your hedges, whippersnippering, mowing, keeping it all fresh and clean. Keep on top of your weeding, spray it, clean it, all that kind of stuff, because you can actually just do a lot just by maintenance and keeping on top of it. And then obviously your design or your end goal will obviously dictate where you're going and what you're doing with your different bits. It might be that you need to add some mulch in there to help prevent with the weed growth. It might be that you see that, well, in order to get the plant, the look that I want, this great big tree that we've got in the way needs to be taken out, and we can put something smaller scale to maybe grow in line with the house, or stop obstructing the view, or I always tend to do less is more.
Yeah.
So don't go bam, 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 and fill it, and then it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, kind of put it in, have a look, needs a little bit more, put a bit more, and just, it's all about balance, scale, proportion, heights and things like that.
Heights. I was about to say that, a lot of people think, oh yeah, you there's this big hideous fence, we've got to cover it all, and then sometimes it's generally not like that.
You don't
sometimes
necessarily need to do that.
It's more about just drawing your eye to a different position,
angle, different perspective. And you can also do lower lining plants and things like that look really good and to take away from the harshness of the fence.
Yeah.
But then you can also soften it. We've hung things like candle tea lights off posts that just give it a bit of a glow at night time, and there's lots of different things. You can get laser cut panels and things like that you can put onto them. You can actually get like mini garden beds. They're usually things like succulents and stuff like that, which are really hard to kill.
Yeah.
And your cactuses, which are really hard to kill. If you want something that's water-wise in terms of plants, that's what you go for. If you're one of those people that kills plants, succulents, cacti, and you can still get some really good ornamental-looking, beautiful looks.
And a lot of them have some really nice flowers and stuff too. So you're not just getting green little bulbous
spiky things. There's quite a lot of colours and things like that. Anthuriums are really good as well, but they like a lot of shade. But they still so beautiful. Whenever anybody sees an anthurium, Anthurium, I believe.
I'll take your word for it.
I think that's what it is. They almost look artificial, but they're really, really cool. Really cool.
Awesome. Question.
I'm getting my house ready for sale. What are some easy landscaping tips to help increase my curbside appeal?
Good question. Simple, clean, crisp, maintain it. I would always refresh your garden beds. Put some mulch in the garden beds. Some new plants. They don't need to be expensive because it's only for sale. So you don't have to think of they're going to be there for 10, 15 years. It's just to give that curb appeal. If your lawn is looking a bit worse for wear, one option is obviously to replace the whole thing, or you can seed it. You can put chemicals and things in there that will help it to grow and green up. Again, plenty of watering. Just keep everything clean. Simplify everything.
Another one. What are the best plants to start a privacy hedge?
Privacy hedge. Okay. So my guys are going to kill me for saying this one. But one is bamboo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really good. It's really quick. Grows like it's going out of fashion. But be careful of what varieties. And I'm not a bamboo specialist, but I think there's a gold stripe and another golden one that doesn't drop as many leaves. Mm-hmm. The thing with bamboo is it drops a lot of leaves. So you're always maintaining it.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And there's
isn't there like a clumping one?
Yeah, a clumping one is a better one.
Yeah.
Because if you get the non-clumping, then you're obviously getting the invasive one, and that gets everywhere. And we've actually done quite a few jobs where the biggest thing is to get rid of the bamboo. So, but bamboo is still a good option if you can keep on top of it. Another one for hedging and privacy is your lily-pilly hedges, different varieties. I really like the big reds because it's in the name, they're big and they've got a red colour through them on the edges, a bit like a Christmassy looking aesthetic, but they grow really tall as well. There are some other varieties as well that I can speak to my horticulturists about because they know everything about ins and outs of plants. That's why I've got them. But and again, there are some other varieties like bougainvilleas and things like that, but they tend to be, they've got spikes, very sharp. So if they're around pets, kids, stuff like that, so you've got to be careful with that kind of thing as well. But again, it's better to look at the area and see it and then go, what's going to work well in there. Another way that you can contain it though is for with bamboos and things like that is putting them in pots, because any plant will only grow as big as the pot will allow it to grow. So that's another trick of a simple way to keep your plants from going crazy.
And these days you can get pots that aren't just sort of standard tall pots. You can get some really,
Or
really
you can get some
big,
really big,
wide, deep.
troughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're beautiful and they're really good. You can get really good quality ones that are not so expensive. You can obviously spend a lot of money on them and get the solid granite ones that are crazy, super heavy. But again, that's for your more, I've bought this house or we've built this house and we're staying. But you can get some plastic versions that look like the granite.
That are fiberglass.
Fiberglass and things like that. So yeah.
Two more questions. What other, should we buy UV charged garden lights from Bunnings or get a proper plug-in light system from our garden, for our garden?
You're always better to go in with properly electrical wired, fitted, secure lights. Even the top quality solar lights that you can spend hundreds of dollars on will have a shelf life. Again, it's what you want to spend now. I mean, if you want to keep replacing them and stuff like that, they do a job for a while. But you're always better to get electrically wired, and we've got some great people that can do that and do it well. And it's all about, when you're thinking about the lighting, what's the reason for the lighting? Is it just to look pretty? Do you want some color in there? Do you want to define, maybe you've got a long pathway that you often get people.
Yeah, it could be a safety thing. Yeah.
A bit like an airplane, you got your light.
Yes.
It's a bit similar
Down
thing to this way, that kind of thing. But they can also draw your eye to. You might have some really nice, expensive plants in your property that you want to put a light through, and it shines through it and creates a beautiful shadow.
Or if there was a surround around a pool, if you had something like what we were discussing before, a water feature going into the pool,
that's right.
And you had some beautiful plants behind it, you might want to create that mood or party or whatever it is that you're doing.
And the way that technology is going nowadays as well, with Hey Google and Alexa and all that kind of stuff.
Play my music. Yeah.
Dinner party mode.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
A few more.
Yeah.
Should I be coordinating my builder with my landscaping to create a cohesive look throughout the house and yard?
It's always advantageous to do that, yeah. Always, if you're thinking about using a landscaper or any other trade that's to do with your house, if you can get them all together and kind of know what the same design goal is, then obviously they can tailor everything to that. There have been times when I've gone out to properties where they've already built certain elements of the garden and we've had to work around it. That hasn't been, if we'd have been consulted in the beginning, then obviously the house itself could have been built around it. You could change some different things and elements to fit. So the short answer to that is yes, absolutely.
And to follow on from that, that's why Totally Wicked exists. So we know when to bring people in at the right times. So we're not wasting your time, but we bring you in early enough to go, hey, this is where we're at. Any feedback? And then get the whole picture.
The whole picture before you get started.
Yeah.
And you can also, with doing it that way, you can also not only get a whole picture in terms of where you're going in the design, but also cost.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've got a more accurate cost indication for your budget to know what you can and can't do in the initial stages.
And it is much, much better, I've always said, to have the big plan. And if you don't have the budget, or you're going to have the budget like in a staged process, if you've got the big plan, it will save you a lot of money to begin with. I've had so many people, they bring me in like after they've started some renovations and they go, oh, we really want to knock this wall out, but we just renovated the bathroom like 2 years ago. Well, no, you're going to have to undo it because you want to do the kitchen. So it's really important to have a big plan.
Right, one last question. What's your favourite flowering plant and why?
My favourite flowering plant and why? I really like the anthuriums. They're beautiful. They're very architectural. They're clean. They're crisp. They come in a variety of different colours. They look polished. Another plant that I really like, as simple as it sounds, is a nice liriope. they flower really nicely as well. Yeah, simple liriopes. They're really nice.
I don't see. I'm the type of person that go, oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what it is.
No, and that's still a good start though, you know, because we can then look at we can ascertain from what you like the look and the aesthetic and the feel and the finish and the atmospherics that you wanted to get from that, and then find other plants
that are like that
that will suit your space, because they're not necessarily the one you like is going to work where you want to put it. So we can find an alternative that got the same look and feel.
And that's really helpful too. Like if you're doing lots of renovations, you know, it's always good to have, like, as a client, if you come in and you say, oh, there's some photos on Pinterest that I've seen that I like, and this is kind of the idea, it makes it so much easier for us to go, right, we understand what you're trying to say now, and
that's right.
We'll build on top of that.
That's right. And when we do our plant selections as well, a lot of customers, when we're doing quotes and things like that, what plants am I getting? And I'll say, well, as the quotation says, they're based on what you're wanting. So they're based on low maintenance, architectural style, nice colour, and all year round simplicity. Yeah. But with the trade nurseries or any other nursery, I could give you a list of plants that I think would suit that. And then when they get to the nursery, they don't have any of them. They're not in season. It's not the wrong time of year. So what we tend to do is give you an overview of what it is that we're looking to put in, and then we'll select the plants from the supplier a day or two before we actually put them in, so that we can get the best ones from the lot that's there. Excuse me. And what we'll do is we'll purchase them, we'll place them out in your garden where they're going to go, and get your go ahead as to whether or not you like how they look before we plant them, so that we can move them around. And
that's sort of like what you were saying before, you know, you buy a few and you place them down and you stand back and kind of go, is that
I need
right?
a couple more in there.
Yeah.
Or no, I've got too many, you know, but it starts smaller and then just build on it. But
that's awesome. Good advice.
Come in.
We're running out of time now.
What plants work best around the pool?
Around your pool? I think a lot of ground covers look really good around your pool. So again, liriopes, mondo grasses, things like that, architectural grasses and stuff. Anything that's ground cover. Cordylines work really well, especially things like Cordyline australis and Cordyline rubra. You can also use agaves or agaves, cacti and things. And you can also use, I think it's a Dracaena colorama, which is also a bit like it's a bit like a cordyline, but it's more architectural, and you get some really nice colours and things with that. And again, also lily pillies.
Oh.
One more last question. So this is the last question. Should I get a landscaper to review my backyard before I consider building a pool?
Yes. Ensure always get somebody in the planning stages. And when you get a pool guy that comes in, make sure that you get one that will do a plan and everything and a drawing for you, because then we can then get a copy of that drawing and help you to establish how you want the pool, but also what can go around it to make the most of that pool.
Yeah, no, and it goes back to what we were saying before, you know, like the more people that you have involved in the process together at the beginning, the more likely you're going to have a really great result at the end.
Result, because it's a collaborative approach.
Yeah,
absolutely. And in lots of industries nowadays, the big word is collaborative.
Yeah, super important. Okay, well, we've gone over time again.
Have we? That's all good.
That's okay. Well, it's almost 8 o'clock.
Plenty of time.
That's okay. That's all right. We're all good. So that's the last question?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, we should draw our giveaway. Get Carolyn outside to find out who the lucky person is. I might get you to draw it when she's ready. But thank you so much for coming.
Not a problem.
And obviously, if anybody has any more questions, or if you're watching this and it's not live, feel free to message us anyway. You can also go to your Facebook page. So it's Lanley Gardens Queensland.
So obviously
Instagram
as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we've got
Do you?
Instagram.
There you go.
And at
But
Home
it's
Gardens, Queensland. Yeah.
cool. All right. So thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to sign up to the newsletter so you can get a copy of this as well as all our checklists and find out what's happening next month, because we do this the first Thursday of every month with a different topic. And also, if there's anything you really, really, really want to know about, please message us and we will sort it out for you. So, we ready? Oh, no. Steve's got to.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Drum roll.
Da, 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 da.
And we have Kathy Aitchinson.
Awesome.
I believe that's correct.
Aitchinson? Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, Kathy Aitchinson.
Yes, awesome.
Excellent. Congratulations. See you soon.
That's great. I really want to see some before and after photos. That'd be awesome.
Yes, we tend to do that.
All right, so I'm just checking to make sure we're all good. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Steve from
Not a
Lonely
problem.
Gardens
Anytime.
Queensland. Thank you to Hawthorne Creative for hosting. I'm Nikki from Totally Wicked Group. You have a totally wicked evening. Thank you.